What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to look at some recent pickups of 90% or constitutional halves that I just picked up. The seller tried to tell me that the guy that he bought them from told him that they were BU, and he tried to pass them off as such. But if you know what to look for, you can easily tell that these were cleaned and not BU. Even cleaned, my purchase price at 12 times face value was pretty decent, so I don't have any problems with the buy price. But just in case there are other people out there and then people try to tell you or sell to you coins that are cleaned as BU, I wanted to show you a few different ways that you can find out. It's real easy to fall under the guise that nice, good-looking coins are BU, but you can tell that these coins are a little too shiny, especially if you've seen other ones, so I'm going to lay them all out. This next roll has some average circulated coins as well as some cleaned ones. Some people don't mind clean coins, but others are kind of religious about it. This last roll has mostly cleaned coins, and you can see that some of them has a little bit of tarnish, but for the most part they're bright and shiny, which doesn't look too natural. The coins in the middle row look like they've been cleaned at some point in time, and you can tell that they do have some different kinds of spotting where they've been rubbed or some cleaned marks, some areas at the low points where there's still some tarnish. Now you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, clean coins are less valuable and can be priced at 10 to 20% less than the same coin at the same grade uncleaned. And that's because a lot of people prefer a natural looking coin over a one that's been kind of cleaned harshly with some unnatural wear. In my recent videos, you can see that I purchased some Morgans and Peace dollars, and I wanted to do more of that, but I don't feel confident in grading coins, and I'm using these 90% halves to kind of train my eye, because I do have more access to it, and it is considerably cheaper. Trying to grade coins raw by eyeballing it is difficult and requires a bit of practice. So I'm going to put these away, and then I'm going to bring out my BU examples or BU and AU examples and use those to compare against the one that was cleaned. Now that these are all put into their tubes, let's put them aside and bring out some other examples and use them for comparison. This is a roll of BU Kennedys and a roll of AU Franklins. One of the benefits of having variety is that you can compare them when you get different types of constitutional silver. So now I'm going to do a weight test starting with the cleaned coins. Now right off the bat you can tell that the look is different, but the weight is at 251.8 grams, so keep that in mind. Next up, we're going to weigh the AU, which ends up being 253.2 grams. Finally, we're going to weigh the 64 Kennedys, which come in at 253.9 grams. So just by doing the weight test, you can see that the first set of Franklins that I just bought for 12 times face and the nice and bright looking coins weigh about 2 grams less than a roll that hasn't been altered in any way. One way I've learned to kind of see if a coin's been cleaned is to look at the reeds on the side of the coin. This is usually a pretty good indicator if the coin has been cleaned via a tumbler or in a physical way outside of like a chemical process. So we'll take a closer look at the reeds and then I'll show you what I mean. Like you can see that the reeds look very uniform. On the fields where there's text, you can see that there's no debris at the lower points or the high points, and that there is some physical wear. It's bright, but in a lustrous way. It's not bright like in a shiny way. Now let's have a look at the nicer set of Franklins, and you can see that these have kind of a natural look to them. They're lustrous, but not shiny and bright, so they've been worn a little bit. You can still see the lines on the bell. The reeds are still uniform and have the ridges, fairly even ridges. Now let's look at the one that the seller said was BU, or what he thought was BU. And a lot of beginners would probably think this because of the way it looks, but if you look at it a little closer, like here, if you look at the reeds, you can see that there's a lot of flat spots on the top of those reeds, and there's debris scattered through different parts of the reeds. The wear is not uniform, and the rim is rounded a bit. So now that I've gone through it, let's do a side-by-side comparison. And let's use the most obvious example of real BU versus the supposed BU. And you can see on the reeds how different it looks when you look at it side by side. Or AU. Like you can tell the color is different, the uniformity of the reeds is different. It becomes fairly obvious once you know what to look for. The seasoned guys can tell pretty quickly and know what points to look for, and this is a skill I'm looking to learn. Hopefully you find this useful. If you do, please comment, like, and subscribe.